Okay, I'm excited today to do Nuuly. Nuuly is basically the Stitch Fix of anthropology. It is the Rent the Runway for hipsters, and I have been a customer for about a year. And basically what happens is I pick out 6 items a month, and then I wear them, and then I ship them back, and I do it all again next month. And really what Nuuly is, and what we're going to talk to you today about, is choice. Nuuly is just a ton of choice. I can sit here for 30 minutes and see things I have never seen before, and I do this each month. It is crazy, it is incredible, and it is overwhelming. But not overwhelming enough that I don't keep coming back. And so why? And I'd really like to kind of start this with the observation that Nuuly is basically like the walking jam study. The jam study is like 20 years old, Sheena Iyengar did it, and you basically set out a bunch of jams versus a small amount of jams, large versus small assortment. And you see who approaches, and it turns out more people approach with a large amount of jams and less people purchase. So what that means is that we may be, as consumers, attracted to a lot of choice, but because of the indecision or because of the choice overload, we then don't purchase. And I do think behavioral scientists have maybe been overgeneralized or stereotyped here to say all choice is bad. And that's actually not what we mean. We mean that choice complexity is bad. And what that usually looks like is choice overload as it relates to the confidence in your purchase and the potential regret. By the way, if you watch the end of Sheena Iyengar's talk on her main TED Talk and get to the end of it, she'll give a really compelling example of why sometimes choice can be bad and the potential for regret after you make it. And so choice in and of itself is not bad, but how we display choice could actually cause this overload and then cause indecision, which decreases purchases or any type of decision. Wow, cute dress. Why haven't I seen that before? Definitely haven't seen that before. And so here is where Nuuly basically wins, which is one, they do 2 things that have been shown to decrease choice overload, which is filtering and creating assortments. So filtering looks like I could go for skirts. It could go for the most rented, and actually that's more of a filter. But they give me lots of ways to narrow my choice such that it doesn't feel like I'm looking at their full assortment. I've actually had more categories or more filters that I could go through. There was a study on hotel choices that really showed that if you do this for a set of 30 hotels and allow people to filter, that you will not have the same type of choice overload as if you had them all in a list. Kind of obvious. When you narrow choices down, you can decrease the complexity of that decision making. Nuuly also, and this is the second thing that they do, is it's low stakes. So there was a study done on retirement savings where you tell people, look, it's very important that you pick the correct allocations for you. And then what happens is people think deeply about it and procrastinate because it's an important decision. How could you not think deeply about it? And then they don't do it. And so if you increase the weight of the task, make it seem more important, then it's likely that you will maybe procrastinate and delay decision making. Whereas Nuuly has low stakes. Every month, I could do it again. So if I make a mistake, it's not that big of a deal. And most studies have not focused on this, I'm not picking one thing, I'm picking 6. And so I can have more of a simultaneous decision-making frame of mind versus sequential. Whereas if I pick one thing and see that it's wrong, which is basically what we're doing in all of e-commerce, then I have to return it and do it again. And so for Nuuly, this having 6 items decreases the stakes of my decision-making and potentially makes it easier for me to make a decision each month. And then, of course, there's a deadline. So this is a monthly thing. And so I have to make a decision or I kind of lose my fee that I pay each month for this. In some cases, high stakes decision making can increase that importance and make people kind of reject the decision more because it's so high stakes. In this case, this deadline doesn't necessarily feel high stakes again because I just get to do it again the following month. By the way, I just want to I don't think folks are fully capturing how many things there are on Nuuly. And so I should just keep scrolling to give you the sense of like, how much is out there and how much choice. And you can basically, filter by your sizes, you can filter. And this is, one of the things that makes choice less hard is that I could do an occasion, I'm going out, and now all of a sudden I could do a style, strapless, fun. Okay, great. And I'm done. And now I have one option. Beautiful. And that is how choice filtering is done. So number one, choice is not always bad. The jam study in real life may actually have a flipped result if you add some assortment, filtering, and categories.